Hi Leo, welcome to my channel. I'm your Cosmic Auntie and this is going to be a monthly reading. I feel like I have so much to say and we'll just take it one step at a time. Okay, Leo, okay? I am recording this for March, first of all, but it could find you at any point in time and feel relevant to you, because energy works in its own cool way. So whenever this video finds you, first of all, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for stopping by. Welcome back if you've been here before, and a big warm hello if you're new. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate every view, every like, every comment, every subscriber. This channel wouldn't be what it is. It wouldn't be blossoming the way it is without you. And I just thank you so much for sharing your beautiful, like, potent energy. It's interesting, Leo, because I have been wanting to sit down and do your reading for like a few days now, but I always like to come here feeling grounded, and I do, and it took me a minute, and so I worked on that, but there's a certain energy that I just feel maybe plays into this energy with you this month. So I'll start with the visual, and then we'll see what the cards reflect and see if that comes through. And we'll start with the visual. Sorry, Leo. So what I received as a little energetic hint for you, Leo, was of like a moment of someone sharing their Twizzlers. And it was like, I was looking down, and there's this bag of Twizzlers, and it was being passed around a group, and like all these different hands were taking like a licorice. And I just, the first feeling I got when I sat with that visual was of you really sharing your gifts. There's a sense of sharing the wealth, sharing your abundance, really sharing your gifts, your talent, your energy. Like, it's just, it could look so many different ways for you, and I feel like it's quite layered. There's a bounty that I sense you sharing, and a sense of community that's really lovely. I got that immediately. And then there's this sense of like something kind of holding me back, and I feel like that's a part of the energy that I've just been kind of really sitting with, and I feel like it's important to say, Leo, that it's important to keep some for you, right? It's important to keep some, like, your bounty for yourself. So I don't necessarily get the sense of like being like your energy, like it being draining in a sense, but it kind of feels like that. Like there's almost something that I sense you paying attention to, because your energy is very lively, and I sense you being in like lots of different spaces, sharing your energy, sharing your wisdom, sharing your gifts, where there's multi like arenas to, express yourself, all the different places that you find yourself in your day to, provide for yourself, but also to just like, just like share your gifts. I sense you putting yourself out there. So I hope that this is making sense. When I watch them back, they usually do, but when I'm here, like in the energy, sometimes I'm like, oh, I hope that like came across, because I sense you really like paying attention. Like there's a really big lesson that I sense you learned recently about like maybe some burnout, or just feeling really drained, and recalibrating like your environments due to what you were experiencing, and finding yourself in these spaces of receptivity and for your authenticity, and feeling like a sense of belonging where you can, like, you know, share your gifts, but really thinking to yourself, like, you know, I guess really playing with some boundaries for yourself so that you don't get depleted. Anyway, let's get into some cards and see what's going on. And just, you know, also making sure you have time for yourself, to just be with yourself, be with your own energy, your gifts, like to sit with it, to enjoy it, to savor it, savor your Twizzlers, you know. And it, you know, it was being handed out around this level, which is like the solar plexus level. So I sense there's a lot of like output of energy. But with it being Twizzlers, I sense it just being very authentic to you, very fun, very creative. You can get really creative with Twizzlers, right? Everyone eats them in a different way, and there's lots of things you can do with them. That's super fun. So I sense a lot of alignment. I just get a feeling of like, it's almost kind of like it's presenting a little nervous, but I sense that that's like something that is a flag to kind of pay attention to, right? And it is, when we're just like, you know, sensing that and asking yourself, like, what do you need? So lots of balance, lots of playing with your alchemy, you know, experimenting and making sure that you're also taking care of yourself. And just, again, being with yourself, being with life, being in your own energy. Because when you're, you know, in a lot of places and you're very captivating, you're very charismatic, you are so generous, you're so giving, you're so warm, you're the sun, Leo. Like, it's so nice to be around you. Yeah, you just bring so much beauty into everywhere that you go, and you put your literal heart into everything that you do, everything that you create. You rule the heart. So there is a big lesson of like how to really have healthy boundaries and remind yourself that you're not being selfish. I think that's what it is. Like, it's like this sense of discomfort of, you know, being a bit more protective over your energy, and then not in like you're sequestering yourself away. There's just a sense of like learning and reflecting on a time where you became very drained and why, and applying those lessons to now. And that's the like tough thing about boundaries, right, Leo, is like implementing them and like holding them. But it's so like necessary and honestly liberating. I guess we just are supposed to have this conversation right now, because I have been sitting with this energy for a few days now. This is interesting. So we've got the Seven of Inspiration and the Hierophant. Yes, like really being like firm with your energy, with your peace, while you step out into the world and share your gifts and connect with people to assist them in connecting to themselves. Really is a Hierophant. The Hierophant is about this sense of devotion, this connection to life, and really stepping out with, I just keep hearing the word like craft, like your craft that could be applicable. You could be really good at that, at crafts. I just honestly think you're a multifaceted person, but this is where the sense of alignment is coming. The things that I sense you aligning with really connect to your heart and soul. And I sense you really being seen and received in the areas in which you are cultivating and sharing your energy, because the Hierophant is this leader energy. And I sense that, Leo, you've leveled up, and you're finding yourself in more of a leadership role, or being seen more. There's just a real sense of being like seen for your gifts, seen for your light, seen for your passion, your gifts. It's really cool. Okay, it's really, really cool. I love it. I love this energy so much. I can't even tell you. I sense you being captivated by things, really being like, committed to learning as well as expressing. I sense you've found like arenas that just really, again, connect to your heart and soul. Like the Hierophant is like kind of, we have the High Priestess sometimes in other tarot decks. It's like the priest, and it's really stepping into your divinity and grounding it into this physical reality by doing things that, help that shine. That's going to look differently for each and every one of you. You are all unique individuals. But I keep thinking of this like Dolly Parton interview, okay? And it's like so good. I'm going to try and find it maybe and put it down in the description. But I love Dolly Parton just so much. And I was watching an interview with her, and she was talking, I think someone asked her about like the limelight or like the spotlight, and she responded in such a remarkable way. Such wisdom. I learned so much from her. We all do. And she was like, but I always keep some things back for myself, because that's important. To be able to be in with myself, in my own energy, because you don't have to share everything. You don't have to share it all. It, comes out in pieces. You become, discerning and protective over your magic, and be able to sit with it and find ways that feel authentic to you to share them. That's where all of the integration happens. Like, she didn't say it necessarily like that, but that's kind of what that's what it brought up in me, is like quiet time and making sure that you have time for yourself is where a lot of the inspiration can be received. And from that place, we step forward and align and create. The Hierophant is also structure, like creating structure to, again, ground your gifts into reality and share them in ways that inspire and elevate people. And being inspired and elevated by others who align with your frequency, with whatever you're doing. It's just this energy of being inspired. But the Seven of Inspiration is one of my favorite depictions of this energy, because it just really, really articulates the strength that comes through this card. And so it's showing me that you are very much implementing these boundaries, and I'm proud of you. It's natural to feel any kind of discomfort if you do resonate with that feeling, because I was feeling this sense of unease, and it can be, there can be that when it comes to, sharing your spiritual gifts, sharing your light. Like, I'm talking to incredibly magical and sensitive people that are really like learning and elevating themselves in their spiritual gifts, their soul gifts. Like, that's I just am like kind of speechless, Leo. I sense you really putting yourself out there and again being received. And I sense you really learning how to you've learned how to protect your light, because it's challenging with us sensitive folk, you know. Sometimes it's a big learning lesson for us, like sensitive people, to really realize like how much beauty and strength and wisdom as sensitive people like bring into things, and how, you know, easy it is to have people attach and drain. And so I sense that there's so much that you've learned about, again, not to be redundant, protecting your energy in this sacred, beautiful way. And then it really, like, I just keep seeing this kind of like stream of golden light come out, because that you've recalled your energy, and now you're stepping out more and more in your majesty. That's what I heard, like, which is so fitting for you, Leo, in your like majesty, in your authenticity. Feeling more comfortable being yourself and sharing your spiritual gifts, sharing your soul gifts. That's the Hierophant is. Wow, Leo, there's so much information coming through, and it's like honestly just really beautiful. It's so beautiful. You've really learned how to have your own back, and that's freaking awesome. We've got the moon. You've gone deep within. There's this, oh my gosh, it's just so, oh my gosh, so beautiful with the Chariot. There's such this like gorgeous spectrum of energy being presented to me, of really going so deep within, and as well as like embodying it in this like bold way in the without the external, like really funneling that. There's a word that I'm like looking for that I just cannot find, but it's like funneling that soul energy into the things that you're doing. Like there's just such a sense of alignment with what you're doing in life right now. There's just things that you've connected to that feed your soul. And I sense you really finding a deeper depth of awareness within yourself. Like with the moon, the Hierophant here, there's just a profound connection to life and your intuition. Wow, like I just sense you really being guided by your intuition, trusting yourself. There's a new level of trust with the self that I'm sensing here. There's this reverence, like this is what I feel like with this body language here, this reverence to your intuitive energy. We just had the full moon as well in Virgo, the last full moon of the astrological year, which brings up a lot of endings, a lot of reflection, Virgo is the Hermit card, so there is this notion of going within and taking account of everything that has come to be thus far. And being with yourself. Releasing, expanding, and implementing the lessons learned thus far. Carrying them forward as wisdom. And this is something I've been saying a lot this month because of the Virgo full moon, is, you know, in the Hermit card, that process lights, you know, the lantern to guide us along the unfolding path, because the Hermit is endings and beginnings. So you know, this whole theme of this month is a whole new era. That's what it feels like. Saturn is moving into Pisces. Pluto is moving, I think, into Aquarius, or has, or is, something like that. So there's big heavy hitters, moving signs. We have the Six of Voices at the bottom of the deck as well. It's like just this sense of moving on and really stepping into your power. This era is really, I feel, about you embodying your gifts more and more and feeling more comfortable in your authenticity, sharing your gifts, but also having these powerful boundaries to protect your sacred light so that you have magic left for you to be in your energy, to sit with life, with creator, with nature, and receive and integrate all of this, the inspiration that you're so sensitive to. Like, you are so tuned in. Like, the people I'm talking to, the people are still here, you're so tuned in. Wow. Some of you may also have moved or are wanting to move, like places, towns, cities. Some of you may be traveling and taking an opportunity to take a trip, or manifesting a trip, or again, somewhere where you're sharing your light, you're sharing your magic, you're sharing your teachings. Ultimately, a whole new era to be seen, and to share your teachings, deepen your teachings, create community and participate in community around these things. And having this like sacred practice with divine energy, this relationship where you go within, you spend time with yourself, you know, do things where you are just with yourself and life. I feel like a breath of fresh air. Like, I just feel like relieved. Trust your innocence. Yeah. There's a sense of like just magic taking up more space. Just there's all this spaciousness I sense you've created to expand into your whimsy more and more, for your inner child to be able to take up more space. Like, you are the rule of the fifth house, which is kind of the house of the inner child. And there's a sense of trust. Again, this word is very important in your reading. Trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, trusting that you have your own back, trusting that you got you, and creating this safety within yourself to be yourself, and therefore share parts of yourself, aspects of your heart and soul, slabs of your heart and soul. Luminescence. Oh, you know what? That's so interesting because when I was tuning the cards, I thought when I saw this card, I was like, oh, heart, Leo. Oh, Leo. This is such a cute card. Oh my gosh, this is bringing such nice energy. I just feel you really becoming so aware of how special your heart is. Cherishing your heart. Luminescence. Glowing, Leo. Glowing. Not dimming your shine. I sense that's something that is a flag that comes up too to notice, like which is showing me that there's a deep lesson here of not dimming your shine. And you know, it reminds me of the new moon reading I did for you, Leo. I did for the collective, and it was a spotlight coming up on me, 3 spotlights, and it reminded me of being in theater doing monologues or watching people doing monologues where it's them on the stage, lit up, sharing depth, sharing perspective, speaking their truth, their feelings, their anguish, their frustration, whatever it is. There's so many ways, but it's very intimate, it's very raw and deep. So it's really giving me that energy of like stepping forward. And I can't remember all of the reading, but there was something else. It was lights, camera, action, really stepping into your magic, remembering that you're the main character of your life. That's what it is. You are the main character of your life. But what's also something that came up too kind of was that you're in a cast, you're in a community. So I sense you being in aligned spaces, and will continue to do that. I sense a lot of growth and blessings and prosperity and abundance with this energy. I've sensed just so much soul alignment within yourself, and also being able to really start seeing it manifest in your physical reality, like really having that reflected. I want to kind of get into this. Where's the booklet? Oh, it's right in front of me. Just get into some keywords with these cards because I'm learning them, and I've decided to learn with y'all. So thank you. This is the Beyond Lemuria deck. It's just incredibly powerful. Okay, so trust your innocence, truth, trusting yourself, being real with people, knowing the difference between intuition and paranoia, uncensored feelings, returning to innocence. Now that's interesting because I sat down here with this sense of like nervousness. Like it just took me some time to piece through, and that is very linked to the moon energy. The moon is our shadow. The moon is our emotions. The moon is our intuition, our depth, our inner wisdom. But it can be shadowy, right? And that's where I sense the 7 of inspiration coming in. You know, you got your back. There's this real solid energy that's being brought to these feelings, you know, so it's very powerful. And through this process, like knowing the difference between intuition and paranoia, I feel like that's a strong connection here. Trusting yourself, being real with people, like just being real with them, like when, you know, you want to say yes, when you want to say no, and really trusting yourself in those yeses and those nos. And again, not dimming your shine. That's a part of being real with people, as well as supporting them and encouraging them. But it's also holding your boundaries and asserting yourself if there's any kind of notion of dimming your shine, knowing that you don't, you know what I mean? You're just being real with people. I feel like that's such an important reflection here as well. Ultimately, the biggest thing is trusting yourself right here. Trusting yourself. Oh, I've got to do this one too. Luminescence. Okay, self-love, the light that radiates from our hearts, light shining in the darkness, heart-centered living, removing your heart armor, accepting your shadows as the flip side of your strengths. Yeah, Leo, oh my gosh, thank you. That's such a great way to put it. Yes, a vulnerable, wide open heart, authentic, heartfelt needs. Yeah, this part, accepting your shadows is the flip side of your strengths. Wow. Now that, Leo, is radical self-love. And I feel that so deeply in your reading. Incredible. Light shining in the darkness. This, I sense, has really assisted you in getting to know your light more and more, getting to, yes, fall in love with yourself in a full spectrum way, creating, again, spaciousness to shine, spaciousness to be all that you are, to, you know, create this expansion to explore yourself. Meanwhile, feeling this like eternal connection to life. It's so amazing. Sorry. I'm just like, this reading is so incredibly powerful. I just saw two, like, looking down at my hands, like two glowing hands. I just feel like your gifts, your spiritual gifts, your powers is just so, like, at your fingertips. Zap, zap. It's so cool. And it's like, whew, look what I can do, you know? Like, wow. And that's good. Like, really take in, like, celebrate yourself. Like, take it in, you know? Just like, ooh, look at that. There's something else that I was thinking too. Oh, I forgot it. Sorry, Leo. It'll come to me, hopefully. Oh, I'm just so trying to get it back. Oh, it was the Twizzlers. Thank you, Spirit. Back to the Twizzlers. Just sharing them from this level, like really like sharing your gifts, sharing your bounty. And again, being received, seen, valued for what you give, what you do, what you share, what you create, who you are. And I'm proud of you for, you know, keeping some Twizzlers to yourself, where you're like, that's what it is. Because it's like the sense of feeling that pride of yourself, being proud of yourself, giving yourself a pat on the back, being impressed with yourself, Leo. Yes, that's so important. And that's, you know, good, okay? I just feel like you're so humble, but trust yourself, trust your innocence, celebrate yourself, and like, yeah, be proud of yourself. You can be humble and celebrate yourself, be impressed with yourself, like, absolutely. And that's a big part of this reading, is like accepting like all different sides of you, bringing your light into the darkness, you know, here, just everywhere, like everywhere in this reading, being your light in the darkness. Accepting your shadows is the flip side of your strengths. That's freaking huge. I am going to be really reflecting on that one. So we got Oya, storms. Yeah, as we're talking about like accepting your shadows, your flip side of your strength, because storms, like, things need to be disrupted sometimes. Like, I sense you have, again, really recalibrated your interactions, your connections, your spaces where you are. Like, I feel like there's a lot of deep lessons here that have like that are being implemented now. And that takes a lot of storms, right? Storms come in and clear out a lot. They redefine the landscape. So I sense that there's been storms weathered and storms created. When we're talking about the flip side, shadows being the flip side of your strengths, it's like when we go into our shadow, we really get to know ourselves. And that's the strength card, which is your card, getting to know our wild nature, getting to really kind of build relationships with the beasts within, and taming them, like in a way that we incorporate them. And that's where the holding of boundaries can be an excellent job for, you know, our fierce side, to employ them to protect us in ways that are beneficial to us. Because the more we bring our awareness to things, the more they shift. Our awareness is our superpower. Whoa. Oh my gosh, yeah, what a great place to end this reading. So we got Mama de Jambo. Shine, baby, shine. Yes, Leo, shine. You're born to shine. You can't help but shine, really. Like, you just do it. And that's where I sense you've learned a new level of being aware of how magical you are. And valuing yourself at a deeper level in order to have these healthy boundaries, as well as like know where you feel aligned and where you don't, and being unapologetic in who you are and what you create, and like shining in these arenas. Okay, like I really feel like there's things that you are doing and creating, things that where, you know, that you are really shining. People are noticing you. People are noticing you. People, like, you know, want what you have to give. They there's just so much that I sense that is successful and incredible. Like, I just heard like people want a piece of you, but it's like, you got to remember, right? Remember Dolly Parton. It's important to keep some back, so you're fed, so you're nourished, so your cup, you know, can be refilled. Okay, I want to get these goddess declarations, and then we're going to end this reading. It was such an interesting reading. I hope that it was helpful to you in some way. So let's start with Oya's declaration. I love this one. Goddess declaration. These can be helpful. I like to share them just in case you'd like to say them to yourselves. So Oya's declaration is, I make shift happen. I make shift happen. So this is like further reflecting. Sorry, I gotta think of a cat here, just floating around here. Just hugged her before the reading. Sorry, Leo. I just sense you've made a lot of shifts in your life due to some deep diving, deep getting to know yourself, clearing, like brewing these storms, like just really coming into contact with your power as you navigate storms and get in contact with your inner storm, your power, your like storms are a force of nature. Really getting to know your force of nature and channeling it. That's the freaking word I was looking for when I was using the word funnel. Channeling that inner, that power that you like, into the things that you are doing and creating. I sense you being very inspired right now, and again, being seen, being recognized, being noticed. It's awesome. Okay, so I make shift happen. That's hilarious and amazing. 32. Oh my gosh, yes. Goddess declaration, Leo. I'm ready to be seen and heard. I am ready to be seen and heard. That is this era. Like, I sense you really being comfortable with being seen and heard, and like being seen and heard. Like, you're up to some really cool things out there, Leo. And if any of this resonated with you, please leave me a comment if you feel comfortable. Like the video, subscribe if you want to see more from me. I'd love to have you a part of this community. It's just, again, pieces of my heart, slabs of my heart and soul, which, you know, thank you for being here. Thank you for helping me like live my truth and share my gifts. So yeah, also, if you like this, I sell vintage. I have the link down below. If you like my little like shrug thing, I've just put a couple of them in the shop. What else do I have to say? I do extended readings. That's something I forgot to tell you. I do extended readings where I break the month into weeks. So if you're interested in purchasing an extended reading and go deeper with this energy week by week, all the instructions to purchase that are down in the description below. And again, thank you for being here, Leo. Thank you for being you. Thank you for all the beauty that you bring into the world. You are so important. You're so magical, and I'm proud of you. So I will see you next month, okay?